For years, many in India and particularly those in Delhi have been seeing the hot air balloon rides in Cappadocia in Turkey. Those hot air balloon rides are now going to be available for all Delhiites. In fact, that service, viewers, has actually started from today. But is this the best time? In fact, the ride will certainly add to the city's attractions. But is it the correct time for this project to come up, even as many are asking about it? Priyanka Chaturvedi of the UBT Sena has actually said that this is a face-palm moment as far as government's priorities are concerned, which should right now be focusing on the pollution and the toxic air that most in Delhi are breathing. But instead of that, it is the hot air balloon project that is being showcased right now. And that's the larger question that we are focusing on today and asking, that is this the right time for such a project to come out when the focus should actually be on the pollution levels in Delhi? Or is it a case of just mistiming? The fact that the hot air balloon project was in pipeline for a while, it just happened to coincide at a time when the AQI is so bad in Delhi. Let's get in the two guests joining me on the broadcast, and then I'm going to walk you through, viewers, exactly what the details of that hot air balloon project are also all about in terms of what is the amount of CO2 it saves and how much distance you can actually cover in a minute. But before that, let's open this up with the two panelists joining me. Somnath Bharti of the Aam Aadmi Party, Neoma Gupta of the BJP. Ms. Gupta, let me start with you, ma'am. Have you been able to take that ride? The ride has actually started from today?
Good evening. First of all, I want to say it's important to remember that the CAQM had revoked GRAP Stage 3 curbs, meaning the highest restrictions were no longer enforced when the rides were announced. And these rides last under 15 minutes with strict safety and health protocols. And I'm certain that the local AQI will be monitored in real time and operations will be suspended instantly if needed. It's an organized and it's not spontaneous event. Thus, it can be controlled, stopped, and resumed as need be. And further, the balloon ride wasn't deliberately launched at this time, as if, they were trying to tell everybody to go now. This was in the works, as you said, for a while, and it's just a coincidence that it has been launched right now. Nobody has to go on these rides mandatory. It's completely optional and discretionary. And it's quite...
of course, it's discretionary. But yes, the reason why I'm asking you this, before I get in Somnath Bharti, is that many are saying this is a case of misplaced priorities. Even if the project was in pipeline for a while, should this have been the focus right now instead of addressing the AQI levels?
So it's quite disingenuous to suggest that the most common line of criticism is that we are going to ignore the real issue of pollution and focusing only on the balloon. Someone who says this is unfortunately committing a fallacy or a false dilemma, as it is known. This means that, are you trying to say either the government fights pollution or it launches a balloon? I mean, it sounds rather ridiculous. We are taking major steps to fight pollution since we've come into power. And this has nothing to do with the balloon, a kite, or anything. The balloon is an externality and will not diminish our pollution combating efforts by any step.
Okay, so what you're saying
this fallacy has to be removed.
So what you're saying is, just so happens that the hot air balloon project is actually starting today, even though the AQI levels are so high. GRAP 3 being suspended is a separate discussion altogether as to why it has happened. But what you are saying is that don't mix the two. It's not a case of mistiming. Okay, Somnath Bharti, respond to that.
Gauri, I was listening very patiently. My friend from BJP. See, this moment, Delhi's AQI is in very poor to hazardous range, starting from 350 to 400. And it's been happening for last over 2 weeks, continuously. Children, senior citizens, asthma patients are literally gasping for air. And instead of emergency health measures, Honorable LG and BJP are busy launching a 3,000 rupee hot air balloon.
What they are saying is, जिनको ये problem है, वो ना चढ़े hot air balloon.
1 second.
Essentially,
and not
that's
only,
what they're saying.
there's no correlation with the pollution.
Interfere, Neoma. Kindly do not interfere with me. I did not speak in between at all. See, Delhi को oxygen चाहिए, optics नहीं चाहिए. Our simple point is that in the middle of a public health emergency, the priority has to be reducing emissions and protecting people, not photo ops. 100 feet above the gas chamber. I mean, health emergency versus tourism optics. What's going on in this city? See,
Okay.
see the way even today when I'm talking to you, and I can see your screen itself, the AQI is 400 around.
Yes.
What are we saying? And it's been happening for last 15 odd days continuously without interruption at all. So it shows priorities. It shows commitment. So BJP is committed to public health emergency?
Okay,
No.
now hold your thought
Around
there.
17,000
Somnath Bharti, hold your
deaths.
thought there. I'm going to give you a chance.
linked
I'm going to
with
give you a chance. And Neoma, I'm going to come to you as well. Again, with the fact that nobody is saying it's either or, but the fact is it's just about what is there at the wrong timing, given the fact that what should be the priority. I'm going to come to that, but first up, viewers, I'm going to now take you through what exactly is this hot air balloon in terms of, is it also adding to pollution? That's another aspect that needs to be kept in mind, and we're going to put that out for you. More fuel to pollution, burn propane to heat that air, which actually produces carbon dioxide. That's another aspect that needs to be kept in mind. That one is that there is a scenic beauty, one is that there is a tourism attraction there. One is the fact that it just happened to be announced at the wrong time, but then there is the carbon dioxide that it emanates. And also let's move ahead and tell you more in terms of why this is, if you were to put it in terms of 1 hour, 1 hour of ride can actually produce up to 180 kilograms of carbon dioxide. These are broad back of the envelope calculations. Even if a ride is about 15 minutes, then that is from 180, that means about 45 kilograms of CO2, and the ride right now is 15 minutes, viewers. And emissions low compared to cars and aircraft, of course, but then this is also a recreational exercise. It's not something that is actually going to transport you to a place where you're going to go for work or any of such a specific area. No engine involved, negligible particle pollution. This is important. So while we are talking about the carbon dioxide being emanated and produced, there is the particle pollution is actually very negligible. And this is important because this needs to be kept in mind when people are going to use this for recreational facilities. Neoma, let me come back to you. I put out some of those facts for viewers to better understand as to where this facility actually stands. But nothing takes away from the fact that while this may add to the city's attractions, it comes at a time when the skyline is far from blue. The skyline is suffering because of a toxic air blanket under which Delhiites are living.
See, our government at both the state and central level has taken very serious cognizance of the air pollution issue, which we all know has been plaguing our capital for the last 10 years. We have said and maintained we genuinely are doing our best and putting in every single effort we can across, all departments. We needed a little time and patience. I'm glad most people have understood this and slowly seeing improvements instead of being provoked by the opposition, who after decades of failure want to convince people that they should expect a Christmas miracle. Having said that, I'd like to go to a more factual matrix whereby, the union minister, for example, it was just all the areas for plantation are being identified. Agencies responsible have been allocated. Avenues for community participation are kicking in. Small technical steps like legal, like the legacy waste processing. A waste to energy capacity of 7,000 tons is being added. Since NCR is affected and not just Delhi, parallel efforts in Gurgaon, Noida, Greater Noida, Faridabad, Ghaziabad are also steadily moving towards complete liquidation of stuff like this. My point is, over here, while we are talking about a hot air balloon, there is never a point where the Delhi government has told you that we are deflecting from pollution. We are continuously working.
I'm not saying that either. I'm talking about priorities. I'm not saying that either. But
it does not, a hot air balloon at no juncture demonstrates that our priority to remove pollution has gone down even by 1%. So that is a misconception which is being projected.
Okay, Somnath Bharti wants to come in there. Somnath Bharti, respond.
Sure.
They're saying that there are legacy issues.
No, I can understand the difficulty of my friend from BJP to make it feel better, but that's not happening. See, the problem is that BJP government, since the time it came to power in Delhi, they have been just doing management. So what they did, they tried to use water sprinklers around AQI monitoring stations itself. They tried to keep it switched off. So by doing all these, they are into perception management.
No, what they are saying, Somnath Bharti, what they are saying is, I'm going to give you the chance. Mr. Bharti, you only will speak. You only will speak. But the question that they are saying is that this took 11 years in the making and it can't be undone in 11 months.
So
Respond to that.
Then hold on. See, if you recall our time, we used to be doing many things. Even we were on the roads. The dust particles were being controlled. We had PUSA Institute helping us developing chemicals, etc. So we had many things in place happening during this time. What is being done by BJP? And mind it, Gauri. See, it is BJP which had given timelines. That 8th March, we will give 2,500 to pay every woman. By Holi, Diwali, we'll be giving free cylinder. By the very first shot, Yamuna will be clean. This season we will have clean air. So this is the BJP which has given timelines, not me.
Okay, Niyuma Gupta, respond to that.
Yeah, so just on the basis
let me
of
add that
that,
part. Let me add one part to it. It's not just the Aam Aadmi Party, and in fact, I started this discussion just by pointing out how Priyanka Chaturvedi had also raised this. In fact, she pointed out the newspaper today and said that this had come out, and that's the tweet. I refer to it, but the viewers can see that tweet right there, where it's not just a case of Aam Aadmi Party asking. Many are asking that is this just a case of government's priorities tilting more towards what looks attractive at a time when what should actually be the focus is whether it's livable, breathable or not.
Okay, so I'm repeating, at no juncture is this a deflection or the fact that Delhi is not our priority when it comes to reduction of pollution. To Mr. Bharti, sir, I'm sorry, all the steps that your government did take was an epic failure because we were breathing unbreathable air back in the day on repeat. Okay, so I don't think you really are in a position to criticize us because your government was, like for example, you took the odd even example. Just to say, sir, the Berkeley study had suggested to your government that has never been a solution to removing the pollution. When it comes to Delhi government, I'm repeatedly saying, okay, just before I go into that step, I'll just share some data with you if it's okay.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Just very quickly. Between 1st Jan and 9th November 2025, the average AQI was 175. This was 189 during the corresponding period of last year, where the PM 2.5 micrograms and 10 concentration levels were 75.
Okay.
At that time, it was 170 respectively. What I'm trying to say, this does not mean that anyone should be happy with this and not complain about pollution.
Okay, that's the only takeaway for me, that there is no reason to be happy because you feel that more needs to be done. You know, both of you stay with me. I'm going to get an important voice as well. And viewers, if you are a Delhiite like me, breathing the air that is in very poor category, the question that comes to mind is enough being done to address this problem? That is not just political. You heard the two politicians on the panel bickering about it, but frankly, this is about life. This is about Delhi air being bad, and you don't need another health expert on the panel to tell you just that. What you already know, that a solution should be made available and all agencies must be made accountable. Interestingly, even as the hot air balloon service starts, the question is that maybe it's good for the eyes, but not for your lungs. But are we running out of options, viewers, at the local level, at the state level? And should we now be focusing only at the level of the Prime Minister at which this could be addressed? Well, there's one person who most certainly thinks so, that this is an issue that can only be dealt at the highest political office level of the Prime Minister, and that's Kiran Bedi, who joins me on the broadcast for more on this. Ma'am, thanks much for joining us on NDTV. Appreciate your time. Let me start by asking that you made a heartfelt appeal for Delhi pollution to be addressed at the level of the Prime Minister. One would say that you've pretty much lost hope, whether it's at the local level, at the state level, and you feel this is something that can only be addressed by the highest political office of the land.
Yes, it's demanding a very strong coordination, right from the district collector to the chief ministers and the chief secretaries and the government of India. It's actually a multi-pronged coordination demand. District collectors, young IS officers overseeing districts and rural areas. One, they can be made accountable. Secondly, you have the chief secretaries involved. Chief secretaries coordinate the whole state. You have the chief minister to provide the political will. Then you have the AQI, the agency which continues to guide you. Then you have the government of India, which has many departments which are concerned with it. There's transport, there's infrastructure, there's buildings, there is sanitation, there's dust control, there's agriculture, there's education, and also people involved. So look, that is why when I made an appeal, because Government of India, at the moment, the central government could be the trendsetter. It could be a trendsetter of the kind of policies it would evolve. So therefore, this solution demands multi-pronged, decentralized, and also oversight solution.
In your assessment, what are those options really? I ask you this because you have a very rich, long record of being an administrator, knowing exactly how things work at the ground level as well. But beyond the politics, what do you think are the options that are available?
Just one option. Straight away one option. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. One option. All department officers concerned, whether it's a district collector, whether it's the bureaucrats in the concerned departments of transport, sanitation, municipal corporation, education, infrastructure, get on your feet. Come and be on your feet and go and see on the ground what is not right, what's going wrong. Everybody will pick up their own areas to start solving. And I tell you, it will be magic. All of them on their feet. Don't go to the office at 9 a.m. Go to the round. Go to the ground. Be on your feet. See things for yourself. And you will see after that, come back to the office and get it correct. Get it coordinated. The point is, get out of offices. Get out of your offices and move out of your air purifiers, which you may be having in your offices. Get out. Move on your feet. Be on your feet. It needs feet on ground.
Okay, that's a very fervent appeal you're making, ma'am. But many would say that there are already committees, there are multiple boards, it has representation at all levels, and still the pollution problems is not getting resolved because it sort of gets stuck in the bureaucracy of it as well.
That is the reason I'm asking for minds together. It's within coordination and intra. It's inter and intra coordination. That is the reason I made an appeal. Coordination at the central level, coordination at the state level, coordination at the district level. If you start these and then of course, everywhere you have the expertise. You have the expertise on transport, on pollution, on air qualities. You have the expertise. India is full of brilliant. You have Sunita Narayan and her team. You got these experts. Co-opt them wherever they are possible. And you start solving. But the rule is 9 a.m. nobody's coming to their air purifying provided office. They go on the street. Somebody will see dirty roads. Somebody will see encroachments. Somebody will see a construction which is blowing up. Somebody will see a blowing up a thermal plant. We'll start working on it. Somebody will see a polluting industry. You start working on it. So secretary, or even police. By the way, even the police that are working on congestion, because congestion also adds to pollution.
Okay.
See, when I'm saying everybody on ground at 9 a.m., not to the office, it needs feet on ground, and then come back and coordinate.
Okay. Ma'am, if there is one message that you would like to give to the government in Delhi, to the authorities in Delhi, what would that be?
Direct all your officers to start their day in the field at 9 a.m. or even earlier if you can. 8 a.m. 8 a.m. is earlier before the traffic picks up. 8 a.m. they could give a direction to all their government employees. No office, no air purifying, no locking yourself. Walk the streets and you will see when they feel they breathe this bad air, then they'll cry out. Then they'll cry out to say, what can they do? And then the coordination will begin at the chief secretary level, at the department secretaries level. All departments are well placed with very good, capable, professional secretaries. So secretaries within what are seen. What have you seen? So whatever you've seen, you will call your colleague. And when the chiefs speak, when the chiefs walk, when the chiefs leaders walk, everybody walks. Everybody walks. And when everybody's on the ground, you will see cleaner. You'll see cleaner Delhi. You will see decongested Delhi. You will see all these violations which are blatantly being done, of getting caught, and move with a movie camera. Catch them on the road. Catch the evidence as it is. Wherever you're seeing a violation, catch it on the video and put it and make it named and shamed, or send it for violation. So that's enforcement. So see, enforcement will also strengthen if you put more feet on ground. If you start doing, then this costs you nothing. This doesn't cost you anything. This doesn't ask for more manpower. You just have to be
All right.
walking the streets.
I think that's a very important fact you mentioned, that everybody needs to be out on the street and everybody needs to breathe the same air and not be in their air purifier rooms, and then that's when they will swing into action. Which brings me to ask you, you mentioned that it has to go in at the level of the central leadership all the way till the top. You also made an appeal for it, to be possibly included in Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat. There's going to be one that will come out tomorrow. What's your appeal there, ma'am?
Well, because citizens have a very vital role. If they are driving polluting vehicles, are they not contributing? Are they not, when the trucks which are polluting and blowing smoke, are they contributing? And if they are doing a construction without proper cover and throwing the dust all over, aren't they contributing? They all are. And when they're throwing dust and garbage on the streets, aren't they contributing? I think everybody has a role to play. So if everybody, that's where Mann Ki Baat could come in, if the Honorable Prime Minister does it up, and an appeal, and his appeals through Mann Ki Baat have worked. You see, have worked. And I've seen them work many times. And therefore, I am said and pleaded to the Honorable Minister what I saw myself being achieved by his messages.
That's a very important point, and that's the perfect note to end this conversation. Thank you so much, ma'am, for speaking to NDTV, putting out that fervent appeal where Prime Minister should take this up in his Mann Ki Baat, even as it has to start with the entire bureaucratic machinery being brought into action. And as Kiran Bedi was saying, none of this chief secretary and people from that level below should be sitting and breathing air in their air purified rooms, but instead should be going out and acting against those pollution levels.